she started judging Shannon, and I'm Shannon's friend as well. And I just said, can you just like lay back a little bit on her? Just like, you're so hard on her. And, filmed with her a couple times, calling Shannon just terrible words and terrible things. And it wasn't Tamra's business to make Shannon accountable, but Shannon has been in therapy. She's been in counseling. She went to, everything she had to do for her police record to be allowing her to drive with a breathalyzer. It just got so ugly and mean. And it wasn't pertaining really towards me, but I saw the character of the person that I called a friend. And I just realized, like, I don't want to be around that in my life.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Over there is Adam Glenn. Adam, who is fresh off of having some crazy laryngitis, so he still sounds a little bit like a little old man, but we're going to go with it today. We got a big guest on today's podcast. We have a former Real Housewife of Orange County, Vicki Gunvalson. I always mess up her last name, but I won't do it during the podcast. I promise. But Vicki has been all over the headline. She's the host of her own podcast. There is so much to ask her. I don't know. I love having Bravo stars. For some reason, people love having these big Bravo stars on the podcast, and they love their stories and to hear all about them. Are you a big Bravo person, Adam?
I get it. I am not, but I get it. The only show I'm obsessed with is Bravo Summer House. I don't know why. I love Summer House. The other shows, the other franchises, I cannot get into. Now, in New York, I'm constantly getting tips on current and former housewives. I go for some of them, but not all of them. I don't know much about them. I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm a Bravo historian. I am not. The one thing I'll say about Bravo is that they killed soap operas.
Yeah, they did. Like a lot of
Bravo
TV
killed soap operas.
But in a lot of reality TV, people were more fascinated with them than other reality shows. And then you saw the other reality shows kind of die off. Like, I don't know, Road Rules, Real World, that kind of stuff, like, didn't ever come back. They would come back, have a little resurgence, but like the Bravo channel just destroyed all the rest of them, I feel.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't even know soap operas are even still on TV. And soap operas have had this core audience. And if you look at, like, if you picture what soap opera audiences are, that's what Bravo audiences are. And it's funny, when you go to the BravoCon, as you saw a lot of people there, like, oh,
diehard fans, man.
Diehard fans, but these are, again, people that would have, A, are too young to really be part of that soap opera era, or B, people have transitioned from the soap opera era to the Bravo era. I get the appeal. I think the way it's shot is very good. Bravo is very colorful. The filter they use when they show their, what's going on in the world, it's good filter, but also people love the drama. I think the drama that goes on is somewhat very relatable.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into with Vicki. She had a major health scare recently. I don't know if you saw the headlines about this, but she had she was giving a 10 to 20% chance of survival after, I'll let her get into why she had a 10 to 20% chance of survival. But very scary. We almost lost her. She's been all over the headlines with Tamra. She's got her podcast that's getting a lot of attention right now. So we will get into all of that. Before we get to her, I'm going to read a review, because that's what we like to do as a way to thank you guys for stopping by our Apple Podcast page, scrolling down to the bottom and leaving us a quick thought with a 5-star review, because it helps us crawl up the charts. It helps people discover us. It does a lot more than you think it does. And that's why we always want to just say thank you. So this one comes from Miss Ryle, 5 stars. Headline says great. And the review just says, just found you guys. So glad. But I will take it. Listen, short and sweet and to the point, and I absolutely love it. So thank you. Should I read one more because that was so quick?
Sure.
I'll do one more. Okay, one more. This one comes from Vindalulu, 5 stars. always great as the headline. Thanks for being fun. Another short and sweet one. And I appreciate you guys so much for just taking the time out of your day to go and leave that review. It really, really means a lot.
Perfect.
So we are going to jump right into this. All right. So our guest today is a businesswoman, but you know her as a former Real Housewife of Orange County. However, she is still all over the show. She is also the host of her own podcast called My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast. Vicki Gunvalson, welcome to the podcast. Vicki, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you. I just feel like there's so much that we want to talk to you about, but I want to rewind it just a little bit. Our audience absolutely loves, whenever we have any Bravo star, housewife, just kind of anyone in the public eye, they want to hear how they got there. So can you back us up, and how the hell did you even get on the Real Housewives in the first place? How does something like that come about?
Well, back in the day, that was 19 and a half years ago, my son saw a little article in the Coda de Casa newspaper that said, we're casting for college kids going away to school, living a privileged life behind the gates. If you think your family is unique, write in a story. Michael wrote 2 pages. And I was in Puerto Vallarta at the time. He called me. He's like, Mom, I did the craziest thing, but I wrote about our family, how you work, and most of the women around here don't work, and how you're at every soccer game and every baseball game, and we'll see what happens. I'm like, you're going to be on a reality show? What's a reality show? Back then, there was like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I think was the only one on. And nobody knew the word Bravo. It was just, something that was coming up. So anyway, 6 months later, I got a knock on the door. Scott Dunlap was there. He's like, we got this little article that we posted in the Coda de Casa newspaper. Your son wrote in. We'd like to talk to you. I'm like, I'm working. I had my headset on. Lori Waring at the time was in the front office. I had Duff working, and I was like, I don't have time for this. I got dinner in the oven. I got kids swimming in the pool. He's like, this is crazy. What do you mean? So I said, I can't talk right now. I'm very busy. Call me. I don't know what you're doing. So I called Michael. I said, what the heck did you do? This guy knocked on the door, Scott Dunlap. And he's like, I don't know, Mom, I thought it'd be fun. I'm like, it's not going to be fun. Like, I'm too busy. And plus I'm not cute enough, skinny enough. And what is reality TV? So fast forward, he came back again, relentless, and sat Don and I down. He's like, we don't know what's going to happen with it, but we're going to film like 4 weeks, just your reality. We're going to put you around 5 other women that don't work and, play tennis all day. Remember Kimberly and all the girls were just kind of, living the social life. And I said, well, that doesn't sound fun to me because I don't understand that. So there we go. Reality show started. So, and then we were.
What's interesting, I think, is the fact that the audition or like the call to action was about kids. So
Right.
I wonder if initially it was really supposed to be a reality show geared around rich children. And then instantly they were like, no. The moms are way more interesting than the kids.
Happen, because the kids going off to college. Okay, they go off to college and then they come back and they do their stupid shit at 18 years old, and that wasn't going to probably hold some substance. And here we've got the moms interjecting, going, "You have to be home at midnight, even though you're away at college, and you have to do this and they have to do that. And did you make your bed?" And so, I mean, that can only be a couple episodes.
Exactly.
So do they do a screen test with you? Like, do they audition you? What is that audition process like?
Andy said I did an audition. I said I didn't do an audition because I didn't want to do it. They just had these little handy cams and they said, show us what you do in a normal day life. I'm like, I get up, I get dressed for work, even though I work from the house. And this is my day. I sell insurance. And then sometimes I see clients, I go to their homes, but most of the time my calls were, on the phone, and I didn't see clients. So no, there wasn't any audition, but Andy said he has one. I'm like, okay, yeah. I was in the backyard saying, I don't want to do reality TV. So
then what changed your mind? What motivated you to do the show if you weren't really interested in doing reality TV? Like, what was it that you said, you know what, let's do it. Why not?
Well, Scott Dunlap was the one that convinced me, and he lives here in Coda de Casa, belongs to the country club I do. And, I'm not a country clubber. I'll go after work and have a bite to eat, or, I don't do tennis. I don't do golf. I don't play racquetball. I don't do the pickleball. I don't chase balls, And so he just is like, I think it could be good for your business. It'll expose your brand, and things like that. I'm like, oh God, just don't interrupt my workflow, because they didn't pay us. It was just a stipend of $0. So there was no point in me doing it. I said, what's my benefit? And then when I realized that it was going to be good for my business after season 1, my website blew up. People wanted to buy insurance from me and stuff like that. So then I realized that it could be a good branding for me.
Now,
So yeah,
has it actually, I want to know if it helped your business or it's actually an inconvenience because now everyone can know how to somehow get a hold of you with the millions of Bravo fans that are around the country.
Yeah. Well, they got to go through a filter, right? And so I have a website. People want to say, okay, I like your shirt you're wearing. What is it? I'll send it off to my staff and they'll answer, or we just delete because it can't answer everybody. It's gone down now because there's so many shows out there that, some people say, I want money. I'm losing my house, or I'm like, delete, we all want money. So I filter pretty well. I mean, if they want insurance, obviously we're going to take care of them. But beyond that, it's pretty good. I mean, we have a good filter.
So when you do the show, I'm sure like the first season to second season, you do get a bump in pay. Were you negotiating your own contracts or did you have a team doing it for you?
No, I did my own. I think we got $5,000 season 2 or $10,000. It wasn't anything. By the time you pay your taxes and your cute clothes, I mean, at that time the clothes weren't cute. No, it was really a gift. It was a gift we were giving them.
Gotcha. So $5,000 more or $5,000 fee was what you got to do the show?
I got $5,000 for the whole season.
So not $5,000. So $5,000 for the entire season, not $5,000 per episode.
No, but back then it was because they didn't know if it was going to hit or not. The advertisers is what pays, the network, and so they didn't know if it was going to be a, popular show or not. So we didn't get much money. We actually lost money because I was losing money doing the filming and I was losing sales. So my husband at the time, Don, was like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? He hated it.
It's crazy to see what you guys like paved the way for a lot of the other women and all the other franchises that were getting these massive salaries, but really you guys were the ones that put Housewives on the map. It's pretty incredible. Did you find like the first couple seasons that you were edited like accurately to show who you were as a person, or were you watching the show going, damn, that's not who I thought I was, or that's not how I want people to perceive me?
Well, back in the day, almost 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, it was exactly who I was until they brought on new cast members. And when Teresa flipped the table, all of a sudden everybody started acting, and I don't act, my reality is my reality. So that was when it got very difficult. So each season got more difficult. Season 3, Tamra came in and she really started causing some stirring it up a little bit. And I think that she wanted to make her mark and she did a good job with that. But that's not what I felt a reality TV show was supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about our reality, raising kids, raising good people, having a good work ethic, having a good family. That is my core of who I am. And I think they portrayed that pretty well. Unfortunately, I got divorced when I was on the show in 2010. I filed for divorce. It took me 4 years to get divorced. And then I dated a bad guy and another bad guy. So, that's when I said one time, I just want my love tank filled, So that unfortunately was my reality. And they captured it. I don't know if I would have gotten divorced if I was not on a reality show. And that was one of Don's fears, is people that go on TV or actresses or, reality TV stars, they start getting, their marriage starts crumbling, and ours did. And a lot of marriages did and do on reality TV. If you look on every franchise, somebody's getting divorced.
100%. We've watched it. I mean, back to like Nick and Jessica, one of the first reality shows out there, and it crumbled their marriage for sure.
It's really sad to me. I always said I was never going to let that interfere, and it did. It did.
So what is the coolest thing about being a housewife, and what is the worst thing about being a housewife?
Well, the coolest thing I think was the trips and the experiences and getting kind of self-confidence in front of a camera. I was very shy. I do seminars and I, talk to people about retirement planning and insurance. I would have never been able to do that if I wasn't on TV, because I got my strength back. I kind of got my my speaking abilities. We were on talk shows and we were on, NBC News and Fox News and Jay Leno show. We were just so many different experiences and so many trips I would have never gone to, Iceland, Bali, just really, really cool trips. The worst thing is them portraying you as somebody you're not. And that's the hard part. When I was dating Brooks, they had said that unfortunately they filmed a lot about his cancer, and I believed him. And the cast members all went on this thing that he was faking it. And whether he was or he wasn't, it had nothing to do with me. It was somebody I was dating. I wasn't married to him. So that was a really tough 2 years for me. And I really wanted to quit. And I was under contract and I just wanted to go hide. Because it was embarrassing that I would fall in love with somebody that would lie to me, So that was hard, really, really hard.
So I saw a lot of headlines recently about your very big health scare, where I read the headline that you had a 10 to 20% chance of survival.
You're making me cry.
Can you walk us through what happened? For people that haven't heard the story, what led you to the hospital to find this?
So I had gone to Rome a week before, and then we were on a cruise. When we were 2 weeks before this, I went to Rome, and then we were on a cruise, my boyfriend and I, and then we went to Barcelona, Spain for 4 days where my son Michael had been living. And I got back and I went to work for 3 days, and I never felt sick. I didn't have a fever. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have any sinus issues. But I went and got my hair highlighted, and on my way back to the office, it was like 10 in the morning, I blacked out. I didn't know where the office was. I didn't know where I was driving. I was missing for a couple hours. I got in the office and I started talking to my staff, and it was jumbled. I couldn't barely walk. I was shuffling. I couldn't write. I was doing emails that weren't making sense. So a client of mine had come in, I'm going to cry. And he was a ER doctor. That is a client of mine. He's like 75. He's retired. And he thought I was having a stroke. So we got Olivia, which is my boyfriend's daughter who works for me. She came in and she said, we're going to the hospital right now. I don't remember anything at all. Got to the hospital. They did the MRI and CAT scan on my brain, and it showed a enlargement in my right side, which is why my head hurt so bad. And it came back where I didn't have a stroke, but I had enlargement of the right lobe, and my sinuses hurt so bad. So they classified it as sinus disease and sent me home. And my girlfriend picked me up, and Michael was in Phoenix working. My boyfriend, he lives with me. And I decided to take a bath. Don't remember that either. And I passed out in the bathtub. So he came home half hour, 45 minutes after he landed, and I was passed out in the bathtub. So it could have been very, very serious right there, right? And so then he put me to bed. In the morning I woke up. I really couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. So I don't remember anything. He got me in his car, drove 105 miles an hour down the freeways and got me to Hoag, Newport. I had been at Hoag Hospital, Irvine, which is more of a satellite hospital. They misdiagnosed me. So they admitted me right away. I was in there for 6 days with sepsis, pneumonia, sinus, and the sepsis had gone from my sinuses up into my brain. So that's what caused the blackouts. And, I was hooked up to 8 different antibiotics because if you don't treat it with the specific one, you die. And I had been on antibiotics a month prior for a sinus infection that wouldn't go away. So then I got on another antibiotic, but they were the wrong ones. So this sinus infection had been festering inside my body for at least a month or 2 months. And everybody that's listening, if you have a sinus infection that's lingering, you got to go get certain testing done. And my fever shot up to like 104 when I was in the hospital. Don't remember being in there very much. I was really in isolation. And I just laid there and just tried to get, sleep. I sleep right now anywhere from 15 to 16 hours a day. I can't get enough sleep. When I wake up, I'm tired. When I go to bed at 7 or 8 at night, yesterday I was in Phoenix. I'm trying to push through and trying to get better by just trying to live life. But I was in Phoenix for a work conference. My boyfriend, Michael, had some work there too. So he, at like, 8 in the morning, he's like, we're going home. And I had a conference yesterday and he said, we're going home. So we went home early, went right to the doctor, did more blood work. And my markers are still showing that I have my white blood cell count is really high, which shows that it's trying to fight this infection. I do have pneumonia in my right lung, so I'm taking a steroid inhaler, but it's been a really, really tragic journey. I mean, it's just, I've got all these people from my podcast that I did emailing me, telling me, their husband died from sepsis. It manifests in an organ, and it could be my liver, my spleen, my, some major organ. And if we don't find the source of that, it's going to come back. So right now, after I get better and strong enough, we got to go further testing as to where is the sepsis originating from, because then it's going to keep coming. And
I didn't realize they're still on the hunt for it. I thought that it was under control. So they need to find the source.
Yeah, that will be phase 2. Once I get strong, then we got to find out the source. And I'm only finding this out through all these people that have been, like, the Sepsis Awareness Month. I didn't know that. Fox News reached out to me and said, can we do a statement? I said, yes. And then I started reading all these articles about sepsis and how serious and dangerous it is. And people lose their limbs and, and then, they die, 10 to 20% survival rate. So I'm still in that red zone area because you can tell from my eyes, I'm very swollen, I'm black, and it's the mineral deficiency from all the antibiotics they gave me. I can't seem to get myself strength. There's zero strength. Like if I do something, all of a sudden I'm tired. I empty the dishwasher, I'm tired. I gotta go sleep, So, and my head hurts so bad. Like I could just hold my head so bad. It feels like I was standing on the top of my head, upside down for hours. And then you stand up and like a head rush. That's how I feel all the time.
I'm so sorry to hear you're going through
That's
this.
terrible.
I know it's a very weird disease, right? Or illness.
So when you were out, did the doctor tell you about this survival rate? Did they tell your boyfriend?
No, they told me in the hospital. An infectious disease doctor had come in, and I had a whole team. I have a sepsis team that's on me. They call me every day. They just said, you're really lucky to be here because a lot of times it goes undetected, sepsis, and people just die. You can't. Your body just gets so infected that you can't. And it started with the sinus infection. I mean, it really, like when I used to go like this, my sinuses are better now, but just touching my forehead hurt 2 months ago. So that crept up into, my right lobe here, and that's what showed up on the MRI.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
It's absolutely insane. And
I
think it's really
swollen I am. It's just, I'm so swollen. I don't even, oh God, I look gross. I'm so swollen. I'm so swollen. Everything is just so, so tender and swollen.
No, I think it's really good to be able to put a statement out there or just make people aware. I mean, there's so many medical scares that people don't realize are issues. You know what I'm saying? I went through a melanoma issue last year, but telling people the simple thing of like, get your skin checked. People don't realize how important it is. If you got funky looking moles, if you got a crusty mole, if you got a mole that's misshapen, and like, that's really important because it can turn into something really bad very quickly and be deadly. So I'm glad you're able to use your platform to let people know. Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Vicki, so did you have a lot of your former cast members reach out? Were you surprised that some people did not reach out? How was that experience for you?
All my cast members reached out except one, and we know who the one was. Bravo sent me a huge bouquet. Evolution, our production company, said, please get better. We love you. You're a Bravo family. That brought tears to my eyes. My kids were so great. They don't live near me, but they sent me the first beautiful floral arrangement and a lovely note just saying, we love you, Mom. And it just was really, sorry. It was really heartfelt. But no, I didn't hear from Tamra, and I didn't expect to. We're not in good terms.
And why is that? Like, what the hell happened between you guys? Because you guys were so close. I love both of you. Honestly, I saw Tamra a couple of months back.
Yeah.
I've never had you on the podcast, but I was very excited to have you on. And I just I was listening to her side, and I'm like, I don't feel like she has an exact moment of when things went sour. And what happened?
You know what it was? We were doing a show, Tres Amigas, and she, the start of it was we were doing a great show. It's like a song and dance. And obviously we know Shannon got a DUI, and Tamra was so brutally mean to Shannon. And Shannon did have a cocktail after the show. She wasn't driving. We had drivers. And, she started judging Shannon, and I'm Shannon's friend as well. And I just said, can you just like lay back a little bit on her? Just like you're so hard on her. And, filmed with her a couple times, calling Shannon just terrible words and terrible things. And it wasn't Tamra's business to make Shannon accountable, but Shannon has been in therapy. She's been in counseling. She went to, everything she had to do for her police record to be allowing her to drive with a breathalyzer. It just got so ugly and mean. And it wasn't pertaining really towards me, but I saw the character of the person that I called a friend. And I just realized like, I don't want to be around that in my life. And this was before my illness, but she's attacked me some years. She's attacked, Gretchen, she's attacked Gina. She's attacked every single Heather last year. It's like every single year she's after somebody. It's like, stop. We can film a great reality show without hurting people. And I just really prayed about it, and I just stepped back. She's not my person I want to call a friend. If I got a problem, I'm not going to call Tamra. And that's sad to me. I've known her. We filmed for 15 years together. She got back on and she thought she had to prove a point that she's this mean girl. And I don't want to be around it. And it was like a pivoting moment when I had been at a dinner and she was calling Shannon a CUNT and all this. And I thought, why are you making this your business? This is not your business. This is Shannon's problem. And, I felt bad for Shannon. Anybody that has empathy, which I'm an empath, is it an empath? Yeah, I'm an empath. So I am completely empathetic of the person that's hurting. I don't go after people that are hurting. I want to hug them and say, it's going to be okay. But she's the opposite. And you can't be those two people friends because it doesn't work. She's a mean girl. And off camera, we don't really do a lot off camera. We only live 5 miles apart from each other. But I realized, like, is she really somebody that I want to say you're my friend? Because the people around here, how can you be friends with her? She's just mean. And it could be Tamra mean on TV or Tamra mean in real life. I don't know the real life Tamra very much because we never really did much off camera other than our show. We filmed a lot and we were good TV together, Trace Amigas and all that fun stuff. But I don't need friends like that.
Well, Vicki, let me ask you this. Do you ever miss your friendship with Tamra? Do you ever look back and wish that things were different?
When we were doing the Trace Amigas show, we had a lot of fun and we loved each other and hugged each other. But when I think about every season, she was going after somebody. If it wasn't me, it was somebody else. And I don't miss that. I got a clean life. I have good people in my life. I want peace and harmony and love and kindness. And Tamra's unpredictable, so I don't miss that. I wish her well, but I can't be around it anymore. And so that was my decision to just say, you know what? I'm out.
So is there any road to mending that friendship, or you think it's done and
Tamra's
gone?
not going to change. She's not. People don't change. I just don't need that in my life, especially after this health scare. It makes me realize my circle's super small. And if she really cared about me, she'd call me and say, you know what, I've been out of line with Shannon and you. And she quit the Trace Amigas show. We had a LLC, we had a bank account, we had a business manager. She quit out of the blue and didn't even call Shannon and I. So what's your character? We had shows lined up. So, and it was because Shannon's DUI, come on, that had nothing to do with the show. So I don't know. I just don't, at this time in my life, I don't want her in my life. She's just mean.
Yeah,
so
because I saw her I'm assuming you saw the video of her crying the other day.
Were there tears?
Speaking to you,
there were no tears. She's a good actress.
So you think her crying on camera was just an act?
What is the point of her doing that? Why doesn't she call me if that's how she really felt? She wants attention. That's what she wants. She wants attention. And if she really, really cared about me and our friendship, she'd call me off camera and say, let's sit down, let's meet, let's call each other, let's FaceTime each other. We don't need to show anything to the public. Yeah. So I think it's all bullshit. I think she was just looking for drama, and her and that Teddy they're just weird together. They're I don't know. She's another mean girl. So I don't have people like that in my life. My people in my life would do anything for me, and I will do anything for them. And we work together, and I look at her as a work friendship now. I don't look at her as somebody I'd call as a friend, because friends don't treat friends that way. Whether it's treating me this way or treating Shannon this way, you don't treat people like that. And Shannon was suffering enough. We didn't need to make her suffer anymore. But Tamra wanted to make her accountable. Like, who's Tamra to make Shannon accountable for a DUI? Yeah. You know, she was already embarrassed, humiliated, and you know, she's a mother of 3, teaching her children don't drink and drive. And now all of a sudden, Tamra's coming in with, you know, the bullhorn. She's going to make her accountable. Like, it's not her place.
Okay, one last Tamra question. Sorry, Adam. One last Tamra question. You see, obviously, all the surgical, face peel. Do you think she's being courageous by putting that out? Because I feel like it's a journey that a lot of people are curious about. Or is that something you'd be like, I'll keep that to yourself?
I think she wants attention. That's why she's doing this. She's an attention seeker, and she's trying to divert from how bad she's looked on the show this season. And the blue peel is a real popular peel around here. I mean, she can never go back out in the sun again. Her doctor is a doctor that I know, part of the group that I know, really good doctor, but it's very invasive, as you've seen. But she wants attention.
And, like, it looks really painful.
Yeah. And plus, I'm sure she got it comped if she would show it. And that's what a lot of people do when they show their services. And that's fine. But I just think she's going overboard with all these, you know, FaceTime videos and stuff. It's like, well, go to bed. You know, what are you doing? So she's telling me to go away. I just said one thing, you know, and I feel strongly about it.
Do you think...
You don't feel bad, though?
No.
Just curious.
She keeps talking about it all the time. Every season. Oh, my daughter doesn't talk to me. Like, if you don't want anyone to know, then stop talking about it.
Yeah.
You are a Bravo celebrity. You know, do you feel some sort of pressure to live a certain type of lifestyle as a celebrity?
I'm from Chicago. We're Midwest. I'm Midwest, so we don't care. I'd like to have my big house back, but I sold it and downsized, and I bought 2 other houses with some of the difference of the money. But I don't feel pressure at all. I feel very fortunate that I was able to make, you know, really good money when I was on Bravo. And I work hard. I still have my insurance practice, and when I get my brain working again, I'll be back working 50 hours a week. But in the meantime, I don't feel pressure. I don't care what other people are doing. I want everyone to be successful. And, you know, there's no way most people can compare to Heather and their style and their money. I don't feel pressure. I'm proud of them, because when we first started, they didn't have that kind of money, you know.
What about, like, again, it's a normal thing for people that aren't in the spotlight. If you're in the hospital because you're having a health scare, is it weird because everyone knows who you are and you can see nurses coming by and be like, oh my God, I love you on the show. Is that awkward?
A couple of them did, but I did have a ND, or what was that called, at the hospital, where people can't find my room number and they can't call my room. So most people say we love you, and that was it. It was not any type of, like, they're in a profession. They can't, like, ask for a picture or something. Plus I was on breathing, you know, breathing machines and stuff. But no, I don't feel 99% of the people, or 100% of the people, if they come up to me, say, I love you, we miss you on the show, please come back, and move on. I mean, nobody's going to say they hate me if they're going to come up to me. I'm sure some do, but 100% of the people always say they love me and they appreciate who I was on the show. So
would you take a full-time role on the show again?
I don't know. You know, it depends who the cast is, really, because I can't go in with conflict. Maybe that's why I'm not on anymore. I don't like conflict in my life. I don't do conflict. I'm a peacemaker. I'll stand up for myself, as I've done, but I don't go for conflict. But it would definitely determine who's on the cast.
Gotcha.
Being a Bravo celebrity, I'm sure you get these one-off gigs that are kind of sometimes paying really well. Sometimes it could be a unique gig. What's the highest paid random gig you got paid or did?
Well, I sign NDAs when I do that, but I did the Ultimate Girls trip twice. The Morocco trip never aired. That was probably my biggest pay, and that's 2 weeks of work, but I can't say because we signed NDAs on that. But it was definitely, nice. I mean, I miss doing those. So I don't know. I'm working on maybe my own show right now. I'm working with a couple producers, so I got some ideas, but it's not going to be this toxic crap that's happening. It's gone too far, and that's why the ratings are down. We're down to 500,000 viewers on our ratings. That when I was on, it was over 2 million. So I think people are tired of the fighting.
What's it like being in the spotlight and wanting to date? Because obviously, I know you've got a boyfriend now.
I do.
There's been years of dating that you've been doing. How is that tough? Because you're like, is this person interested in me because I'm famous?
Yeah.
Because I'm successful? Like, is that hard?
That's really hard. I'm not a dater. I don't know how to date. I've never been on a dating app. Kelly Dodd actually referred me or introduced Michael and I. But he claimed he hadn't seen the show before, but he knew who I was. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I believed him, and I know he's not a big TV watcher. He likes sports. Reality TV is not in his wheelhouse. So that was important to me, that somebody didn't really know me from TV, because sometimes I look like an ass whooping it up. I'm not whooping it up anymore. I'm 62. The whoop it up is gone. And if I do whoop it up, it's very rare. Maybe once a year for my birthday. But I think it's definitely difficult. And that's why you see a lot of these celebrities not with anybody, like, Bethany and Countess Luann. And there's just a lot of people that want to have a relationship, but the guys have to be willing to be exposed,
So if you were a producer for Bravo, how would you make the franchises, the Housewife franchises, better? Would you eliminate some of the franchises? Is it getting too watered down with too many cities? What would you do differently?
I don't mind all the cities. I just think they need to fine tune this and really look at what do we want the viewers to see. Well, they like fashion. They like to know where we live, where we work, where we travel to, friendships, what we do to make a living. Some women don't work, and that's fine. But when that husband leaves you or when he dies, how are they going to carry on? Because it will happen one day. They're going to be alone one day, whether it's due to death or a divorce or something. Women outlive men. So, you have to look at how are these women going to sustain themselves if they're not with a man? And I have the answer, but I think a lot of women don't. So I think the show would be definitely refined if I was a producer, and I wish I was a producer. I'd make it a great show.
I love that. Well, you are a producer on another show, which is your podcast, My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast. Can you tell our audience about it? Like if they're going to tune in and they've never heard the podcast before, what are they going to get out of Vicki?
Well, we're probably 2 months into this now, and I had done 2 previous podcasts. One was with my ex-fiance, Steve Lodge, and it was a Debbie Downer. It was about our life building in Mexico and my condo that I had just bought, and he's retired cop, so he has zero personality. And I was like, oh my God, you're killing me. So that was a flop. And then I prayed about this and I thought about what do I want my podcast to be about? And I want it to be with somebody that, has a presence in social media. My partner, co-host is Christian Gray Snow. He's incredible. And he's been able to do all these great memes, and him and I together have known each other 2 years now. And I thought about who would I want? I don't want another housewife because they're going to want to overpower me. I want this to be my show with a co-host, and Christian's perfect for it. And we want to show light to what's happening. I mean, we did air a little bit about my illness, but I want it to be lighthearted. I want it to be fun. I want to bring on people that I've either filmed with or I'm socially with, or family members, my kids maybe, but something different than what's out there. I don't need to recap other shows. A lot of these podcasts are recapping other shows. The people have already seen the show. If they haven't, they can go on TV and watch it. I don't want the podcast to be about hurting anybody, recapping other shows, having opinions about other people. I want it to be really more inspirational, because that's where I'm at my life, in really helping others, whether they're single, widowed, divorced, married. I'm obviously a single woman, and I think I've got a lot of knowledge in what to do and what not to do. So that's what I want it to be about. We're still building it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the reaction been like so far?
Yeah, it'll be good.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your new podcast journey because it is still fresh. I was just saying, what's the reaction been like from fans so far? Because I know you did that for that podcast about your medical scare.
It's been good. I haven't gone on social media at all. Because they don't want me to because of the brain swelling to be too much on TV, too much on social media. So I'm just letting my staff do all that. And Christian's been handling the comments and such, but I'm really trying to rest my brain. My brain is really damaged and hurt, and call it for what it is. It's swollen. And when your brain swells, similar to a stroke is what I had. Like when I think of words, sometimes it's hard to get out, and that scares me. And she said it could take 6 months to a year before I can get 100% actively, working. So I'm not seeing a lot of it. And if it's negative, I don't want to see it at all. But I did see a little bit of Tamra's, and I thought, what are you doing? Go lay down. Stop. What are you doing? She writes.
You know what? I know you
guys the middle of it. It's like, you go away.
I know you guys are in a rough spot, but I hope one day there can be peace between the two of you, because I think that there is some friendship underneath all of it. Yeah. And sometimes it takes time and growth and all of that from whatever side. And so I wish you that peace in your life for both of you.
And you know what? That's true but you have to look at, why is there so much conflict with her? Yeah. And for what? For what? Why do we have to have so much conflict? So I think it's going to take like something like what happened to me for Tamra to change. I think she's just in this holier than thou, I'm popular and you're not, place in her life. And I just think it's ridiculous,
Well, Vicki, I can't thank you enough for sitting down with us. I know that you're in a lot of pain right now, so I thank you for taking the time.
I have my pajamas on the bottom half of me.
Getting up on a Saturday morning. By the way, it's supposed to be like 107 here in Orange County right now, so stay cool over there. And thank you again. And for anyone who hasn't checked out our podcast, head on over, check out my friend, my soulmate, my podcast, and then hit us back. Let us know what you think. So thank you, Vicki.
Thank you, Vicki.
Guys, have a good day. Okay, take care.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. I gotta be honest with you, Dax. I told you before, I'm not a housewife guy. I'm not the huge Bravo guy, but I do like that she seems very chill and honest and real about everything. Mm-hmm. Like there's no BS. Like I like
when people are no BS. I think those are our favorite guests, when people are no BS and they just say it as it is. And I mean, that's all you can ask for as a podcast host, that you ask a question and they answer it honestly. And so that's awesome. I mean, I'm also, the door is wide open. Tamra, you want to come stop on by. And who knows, there may be peace between these two women one day. I don't see it anytime soon, but maybe one day. We'll see. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. That was a fun podcast. Adam, go get some tea, go get some honey in your throat, do something. Your Barry White voice is awesome. However, it sounds painful half the time. Guys, if you are not a part of our private Facebook group called Off the Record, go find us on Facebook, request to be friends. We have to accept you in, so we got to make sure you're not a creepo. Come join us. This is where we talk about our podcast, the episodes, questions you guys want to know about, things behind the scenes. So come join us on Off the Record, and then you can follow us on all of our social media. We've got Hollywood Raw on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We got actually another Facebook page for it. YouTube. There's obviously the video element where you can watch this whole interview or any past interviews on YouTube or on Red Coral. Red Coral is another video site that we've been loving lately. And if you need to find it, just head on over to HollywoodRaw.com. And we've got links to all those different pages that we are talking about right now. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. You can follow Adam at Adam Glenn. You can follow me at Dax Holt. Until next time, later.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more that came from. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily. Hurry up. Come on, let's go.